Hey guys, welcome back to the Tough Love Podcast with Dr. John O'Connor. Today we're going to talk about creating a boutique style healthcare center versus scaling with mass treatment facilities. One of the things that I can say in my 20 plus years in practice is that I've been on both sides of that. And I will tell you, I'm in a mode now that is definitely a lifestyle and a practice by design, and offering more services and better quality care and not chasing what everybody else is chasing with regards to high volume, high overhead, and just low return, which just turns into burnout. And again, we're not going to talk about different practices and practice standards and how they run their practices, but I think it's a huge part of who we are as individuals and how you want to identify yourself when you look back at your career. You know, I would say up to the first 17,000 patients we treated, which is obviously a sizable number, I liked the machine style, right? And we could be attentive. We had an army of staff and we over-delivered. We had a great reputation. And I think with the shift in healthcare with regards to reimbursements and everything, that's a failing model. Patients, for the most part, don't want to be crammed in like, 30 sheep in a pen. They want it to be individualized. But everybody has a different budget. There's some great practitioners out there, and I love what they say. I think they could be a little extreme because the reality, there's a budget. Now, again, in what I do, I'm an outlier. I mean, in my science and technology, I might be one of the more expensive providers in the state to see, but the bottom line is that what we look at is we look at the results, we look at where they're coming from with regards to what has failed. And it's not about a high volume thing. I'm not pitching, 200-300 patients, a week or a month. I'm taking a select handful of patients that have struggled and failed or have been failed by the healthcare system and can relate to them, very similar to my story. And, and I think when people see how, actually a post that's going up tomorrow, when I was 178 to 182 pounds during COVID, I would wear layers. And now, by the way, just put in perspective, I'm 215 pounds sitting in this chair. And I'm still relatively lean coming off a bodybuilding show, but you're talking about 35 pounds ago as an adult. When I was hurt, I had the best physical therapists. I had reached out to incredible pillars in physical medicine like Stu McGill and these other experts and got great contributions. And I wasn't getting the results. And, I was as disciplined and I've always been disciplined. And one of the things that I realized is that I had to go deeper. And, we talk about volume versus boutique and why I love what I do now. It's, if I saw myself redoing the whole expansion, I would scale it with boutique centers. I wouldn't go after, the mainstream. I would go after small, efficient centers that offer everything from PEMF to our amazing products with MedRay laser and technology with class 4 laser and shockwave and cryotherapy. I would definitely offer physical therapy and chiropractic, but it would be at a standard, even acupuncture. I'm not accepting a compensation below what I'm paying the providers or what they're deserved. And again, it's about setting a standard. Just like there's great restaurants in the area that people can complain about how expensive their steak is. You're paying for the experience. You're paying for the ambiance. You're paying for the entire show that goes on. And the same way that I feel that when you come to an amazing healthcare facility, you're paying for their investment in their technology. You're paying for their expertise. And don't get me wrong, if anybody has worked for me or even in my coaching of practices, I'm demanding. I don't expect average, I expect excellence, and I expect it every second of the day. So it's not something that I take lightly. The way I explain to any of my new hires is that, when patients come to us, it's a 5-star experience. I expect them to receive white glove service. I expect them to have great communication with their healthcare provider. I expect them to have personalized care, which is probably going to be somewhere between 60 and 90 minutes long. And constantly educating them on the benefits and citing research journals and balancing it with physical therapy and or chiropractic. And again, that's how I would recreate. I think for the first 15 plus years of my existence in the healthcare field, I was chasing the race to zero. And now I look at it, and even when I'm coaching practices, I strongly urge young providers. I was talking to a friend of mine that I believe she's in her second year of physical therapy as an outpatient practitioner, and she's extremely disappointed, to say the least. She realizes that she's already at her maximum. Like, this is it. After all the schooling, she landed a great job, and where she landed is exactly where she'll stay. And I don't think that's something that I could settle with. I want to be the master of my fate and the captain of my ship, so to speak, with regards to, I want to dictate how good I am. I want to dictate how I'm compensated. And I would I would strongly encourage any practitioners to take a look. Are you in control of your practice? Are you in control of your reimbursements? Do you even know what they are? So again, these episodes and these next couple of podcasts are all about practice formation, your vision, how you run your practice. If you're looking to change, or, the one thing that I think that my designers and builders and social media teams that I've used have done a great job, regardless of what locations you went into, whether it was Freehold 1 or Freehold 2, Red Bank, the Fort location, or even Old Bridge for the new company. Our brand is strong. And you know what? I would tell people, yeah, that's super important. But what I would tell you is more important than the brand is the relationship you have with your patients, the communication, and the results that you get with them. And I think now that we express that, we communicate at a higher level, we make sure that we're satisfying their requests of what they wanted coming in. I think that not only are we being compensated better, it's also much more satisfying as a person saying, that's my job, that's what I do. And it's very fulfilling. So I'm going to frame this different. If you're looking to create an empire, I would say, like the way the Rook coffee shop is that I don't necessarily see the big centers being the wave of the future. I think it's going to be about being, small and mighty, and offering services that are comprehensive, and services that people are seeing, and the science behind them. I'm tickled when people don't realize, like, all the technology we use is featured or, vetted by such hospitals like the Mayo Clinic, and, in the city are using these technologies. And, I don't often say, hey, go out to our website, even though the people that did the website did a great job, or check out social media. I send to these external sources so that they realize that I'm not sitting there, advertising or promoting myself. I'm saying, hey guys, listen, this is technology that's well received globally, and this is what we do. And so I think that's a transformation, and I think it's something that a lot of practices are going to look at. I found a text message the other day from somebody that's nationally recognized as probably one of the top practice continuing education for chiropractors in the country, him and his brother. And, they have a temperature on the practices around the country. And he said something that was pretty profound, and I found it as I was looking for a contact, because God knows I never delete text messages on my phone. And he said something that really blew my mind. And he said, so many of our fellow colleagues, probably somewhere between 3 to 5 years after COVID, will probably close or go into other professions because they won't bounce back from it. And, I saw that as something that at first didn't resonate, but I could totally see it in the employee mentality versus the owner mentality and what it takes. And so I definitely encourage anybody looking to scale their business to consider a different model, and even just listen to what I'm telling you today, and take a look at it. Do some research, look around nationally, look at what so many of these centers are offering with regards to the sciences in recovery, and how that's its own vertical in healthcare now, and then combine with what you do in physical medicine, whether it's occupational physical therapy or chiropractic care, or even acupuncture, and create an amalgamation of them, and then put a value on it. But again, I can't emphasize enough, whatever you're going to do it at 1,000%. Don't be average, be great. And, whether you want one practice that's amazing or 10, if you have that same formulation for each location, you're going to be successful. So anyway, guys, great chat today. Hope you enjoyed the knowledge. Love being out here with you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you, and God bless.